Hello everyone, this is Professor Kent. Today's recording is keys. I know some of you guys are asking for this file or this company. I'm trying to record it. Please give me some time to record these as I'm still in the classrooms busy with my classes, and I try my best to record fast as possible. The first thing you're going to do is you are going to advance your date. We have to advance it to March 2nd. And don't forget to change the name on the company under the setup, under the setting, and then under the information, company information, enter your name. Whatever your student number is or your name is should be entered because you want it. Every report should print your name. So I did that. So now I'm going to advance the date and to March 2nd. Let's go and do advance the date to March 2nd. We'll say, okay, now we're ready to, March 2nd. And my first transaction, we're going to read it. It's a retail sale. So it's by received a universal credit. So it's going to be a sales invoice. Double click. And you're going to pick the customer that you're selling it to. In this case, you're selling it to Miss Devon. If Miss Devon isn't there, then we needed to add it. You could add it as a one-time customer, or you could add it as a vendor. So let's do that. To me, I'm going to add it as a one-time vendor, and the name of the vendor is Miss Devon. Rona, and you could add it here too, then it's just going to go there. So I'll just say save and close. We know we created it. There's no address, so we don't need to worry about it. But we have is a universal credit. The date is May 2nd, and they told us the invoice number did not tell us, so we're just going to pick the first one that we have it available, and I am going to double click it, and you got SB103. We selected, and how many items? They said one pair, so quantity is one, and then we can go on. And then when you look at it, for the people that are using universal credit, they will not get the 210. So if you did that, the amount has to come out of that. So if I were to show you a report, your entry should look like this. We should have a credit card receivable. We should also have a cost of goods sold, and this is the interest charges that we're paying to the credit card company, and your transaction should look like exactly like this. So I will close this, and we needed to post this transaction. Before we do the next transaction, we needed to advance our date. We're going to advance our date to March 3rd. I am going to go to March 3rd. We're going to advance our date. We will say okay. And then what we did is we issued a sales order. If it's a sales order, who did we issue it to? Jordan Sports. Let's do we are going to do an order. Double click on the order. We're going to create a new one, and in this case we are ordering number 212. Who are we ordering? To Jordan Sports. So I'm going to pick up the Jordan Sports, and then the date is March 3rd, and then it says the shipping date will be March 31st. Let's pick the March 31st, and we know the terms are 210 net 30, which is at the bottom of your screen. The early payment, the order is 10 Jack snowboards. So let's look for snowboards, and then it is 10 of them. We are going to select the 10 and then tab it over, and we needed to go to the next one. The next one is 500 HST. So everything is the way it is, so we don't need to worry. In this case, it's a long-term customer. That's what it's a special price that we're giving it to them. So let's see, did we do everything right? Yes. I am going to record this, but when you record the sales order, there's no transaction. So if you display a transaction, there wouldn't be any transaction to display. We close it, and then next one is the owner invested something into the business. They invested on May. Sorry, I'm just going to do it here. March 5th. So I advance my date to March 5th. And I will select it. Now, who invested it? The owner invested it. This transaction is done on company, and then you are going to go to your journal entries. So double click on the journal entry. Who did you receive it from? We received a bank transfer. So your source will be a bank transfer. And then you go to the comments. The comment will be the owner's name. The owner's name is Hong, D-U-O-N-G, and additional investment. And we double click on the cash because the money is coming in. It is $5,000 and the date is the 5th. And then $5,000. We are going to go to the next line, and you're going to go and you look for additional investments, and we click on that. It automatically credits that. So we have done that transaction. We close this, post this. Once you're done, say post. We close it. We advance our date. Let's say we don't need to advance our date. In this case, we sold the package to Miss Lopez, and then we received a check, and this is my receivable. I double click on the invoice. So what we did is we sold. In this case, who did we sell it to? Lopez. Let's see if Miss Lopez is there. If it's not there, I can just add it. In this case, it is Mr. Lopez, L-O-P-E-Z. And you could add it, but we don't need to add it because there's no harm in adding it. And this person is getting a 10% seniors discount. So we are gonna go to we could do a quick ad or a full ad. I'll just do a full ad, but then it's going to ask you for the address. We don't have any address, so I will just say save and close. And when you do that, what we have to do is we needed to we sold them one pair of used skis. So let's see, we have a used skis, and how many? One pair. It is a one pair, and what they're doing is US 104 for 300 plus the HST. The manager allowed a 10% discount, so there's a discount, and you're going to do a 10% discount on that. So if I were to display this transaction, instead of pay later, it is going to be a check. The check number is 326. So that's the number 326. And let's display the transaction to see if everything it is. Sometimes I need to see the transaction too. In this case, it is not a sales discount. See, it's coming up with a sales discount. So it shouldn't be coming up with sales discount. The reason why is it coming it? Because I set up a full-time vendor, a full customer. I needed to remove that. There is no early discount. So you're if you did a quick ad, if you did a quick ad, that's what it should look like. So that's what it is look like. Sorry, God. So that's what it should look like, the way it is. I have it on the screen. So make sure you take the early discount out. So we will close this, and I will post this transaction March 5th. We did everything what we needed to do. I will post it, and we'll say okay. So now what we're going to do is, let's see what the next transaction is, and the date is March 6th. And now we needed to create a new vendor. So before we do that, we needed to change it to March 6th, and I will say okay. So once you've done the transaction, it's a new vendor, and what is they ordered, and we ordered as a new customer, your actual name, add any address, ordered and received 3 of the Norseman snowboard. So we are going to go into my receivable, and what they did is order and received. So we are going to go into an invoice when the invoice will be whatever the invoice comes up, in this case 138, and you have to add a vendor. I'm just going to whatever your name is. So my name is Kieran Kent, and then it is called Skiing Lodge. So that's what it is called. They said to do that. Your name, Skiing Lodge. I did that. Sometimes it's hard for me to see both screens together. So let's do this way. So when you do that, we have to do a full ad. You can add any address. And they said that we have a credit limit is 7,000 and it's 210 net 30. So I'm going to put the credit limit under the statistic. That's the limit is 7,000. The option is 210 net 30. And then we have everything is the way it is. I am going to there's an HST. I have everything the way we want. I will save and close. I did not put it in the address. You have to put it in your address, whatever your address is. So in this case, what did we got? Item number is an SB. So double click under the item number. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. NSB 45, and it is 3 of those. And we done that, and let's see what else. And 3 goggles. So go to the next line, and we're going to look at my goggles. Where do we have ski goggles and how many we did? We got 3 of those. And then let's see if you could display a journal entry to see if it is a right amount. 8:55, we done everything what we're supposed to do. I'm gonna close it, and once I close it, I needed to advance the date. Before I advance a date, let's do this. So I will have to post this transaction. Sometimes it makes a little harder for me to see the screen. Let's go. I have a post. I don't know if you see my screen, but if you don't see it, I'm just posting the transaction, and that journal entry is being posted. My next date is I have to advance a date. When you advance a date to the 9th, you go to your session date and you change the date to 9th. And what they did is 3 days are gone by and we needed to return something. So let's return something. So what we're returning, your actual name is returning one of the snowboards. So let's do that. When you're doing a sales return, my invoice that we just finished was 1328. So I will do 1328 and it will be a RT. 1328 RT. And then when you do that on the 9th, and your last name, this is my last name, and they return goggles. So double click, and I think it was goggles they returned. Cancel. I need to see what we returned. No, we return the actual item NB45, and we returned -1 when you do the return. So let's go to, and then when you're going to go to the account, it should be sales return account, not a discount, and it is a return. So we do that. Let's go and see what my transaction should look like. I will go to my report, and this is the right transaction. The other thing you could do is, if you're an accounting student, you should do this. Now, my original invoice was on the 6th, and we returned 378 on the 8th. 2 days are gone by. You can make minus the 2, and you can minus the 2 here. But it doesn't do anything. But technically, you should be doing that. So, and once you do that, post your transaction. We're done with that transaction. And we will say, okay. Then what happens is that March 16, you sold one set of ski poles to Miss Obi and received a check. So we're selling it. So who did we sell it to? Miss Obi. It's Obi, not Lopich. I got the wrong person. I needed to add. In this case, I will add Miss Obi. Mr. Obi. And I will save and close. I didn't put it in the adding address because they did not. I don't think they told us any address. What we did is we sold them, and when you sell them, but we got a check, so you're going to have a check number. The check number they told us is 985, and it is on the I have to go change the date first before I could do that. I'm going to close this, and I have to change my session date to 16. Let's do that because sometimes I forget to change it. I'm going to 16. We'll say okay, and I'm going to go back again, and it is going to be, sorry, come on. Sorry, my screen is not doing what it's supposed to do. I think it's just going at the background. So I will go to sales invoice. I'm gonna do this, and in this case it is Miss Ubi, so let's do that. Miss Ubi, and what we did is ski poles, SPO3 we selected. In this case it is one of them. I will pick one, and that's the check number, and let's see if I could display a report. And that should be, it shouldn't be pay later, sorry, I needed a check number. I know that I did it before, but I didn't realize that it wasn't saved. 985, so we are going to go to 985, and if somebody pays you in advance, you needed to remove at the bottom the discount. They don't get a discount. If I display my journal entry, again, your journal entry should look like what I just have on my screen. I am going to close this, and I am going to post this transaction. Let's post this transaction. Sometimes my screen is so small, and that's what it makes it harder for me to post it. Yes, we will say that. I will double click, and then what I need is now we are going to do something. On the 16th, we received a check with the return. Our check number is 3638. So I will go to receipts. That's where we are going to go, and then our check number is 638. And the check receipt number is same as your check number. Who are we receiving it from? Your last name. There's 2 invoices, so we are going to go from the left to the right, and your transaction should exactly look like that. So I'm going to display a journal entry, and your journal entry should look like this, which we did. Now what happens is we are going to close this, and you're going to post this transaction March 16. Now I needed to advance a date. I'm advancing a date to March 23rd. I will go here and advance my date to March 23rd, and we'll say okay. So what happens in this case? March 16, 23rd, the person, Mr. Obi, check return, they didn't have enough money, so we needed to put it in as an invoice. I double click on the invoice, and when you do the invoice, when you send them the invoice, it will be the check number, which is 1320, the invoice number that we send them, which was 1329,329, and it is NSF. And the check number that was NSF was check number 985, which is given to us in the question. The check number 985 was the NSF. That's what happens. And they give us the mailing address. At this time, you should be adding the mailing address. Sorry, I don't know what happened. This Obi. and then this time you will be adding the mailing address. In order to add a mailing address, you click on this, and then it's your job to enter the mailing address. When you do that, it should automatically go. My system sometimes is slow, so or what you could do is you could enter this anytime. So when you do that, it is an NSF check. When you're doing an NSF check, we do not charge an HST account. What you're gonna do is you are gonna put it in here, NSF, and the amount was, they told us the amount was, let's see, the amount was, they didn't tell us the amount, but we have to charge them $15 handling fees. The amount was 6328 if I'm not mistaken, but I'm gonna show you how to do that. I'm gonna go to Miss Ubi, and if you look at all when you go to report receivable, and you could do it a customer aged. When you look at customer age, we only need to look at Ubi, and we'll say okay, that will give you the check number and how much money they owed us. Now I will just do it another way. Hold on, I can go to the reports to be faster. Miss Ubi, if you look at it, check invoice number was 1329, the check number were 98, they owed us $63. So we're gonna go there, and we are going to, when we go in here, they owe us $63.28, and that is on March 23rd. It's an NSF. You need to take away the HST from it. So sorry, the amount was, sorry, the amount will be for account they're looking for, the account they will be looking for, sorry, the amount is 63.28, and HST we needed to take it out. Double click on the account, and then if the account will be, what we have to do is we have a bank account that we are taking it out from, because it shouldn't be in your bank account. The money isn't there, so we'll take out the 210. They don't get any discount. And at top of that, what we needed to do is there is a handling fees. The item will be called handling fees, and that will be for $15. And when you do that, and I have to go to here, and you're going to charge it to the handling fees, and this is my revenue account, and there is no HST on the handling fees, so we're going to take it out, and then we'll show you what my report will look like, or my journal entry that look like is this. So they owe us money, so this is the transaction you will be doing it. So I close it and I post it, and I will say okay. Now our next transaction is on March 26th. Before I could do that, I need to advance my date to March 26th. We'll say okay. And what happened on March 26th? Your bank, what happened? The bank, what did they do? I just see it. The bank, they said the bank advised that Miss Ubi's, we already did, received a $13.10 bank debit memo for the server charges on March 23rd. So what we needed to do is we needed to do a transaction. This transaction is done on General Journal. I go to the company, I double click on General Journal, and it will be bank memo, in this case bank debit memo is on the 6th. And then who told you, and bank, what is this for? Bank service charge. Oh, sorry. The comment will be your bank service charge, and that it is for March 23rd. And then the debit will be your bank service charges. We will have bank service charges, in this case bank charges, and it is for $13.10. I go to the next line, double click, and that's your bank account. So we will have that. So 1310, we have done what we needed to do. So I will show you your transaction. You go to the entry and you display. And this is my transaction. Let's do our next one. We close it and we post this transaction and we say okay, and let's go to our next transaction. So what did they do on the next transaction is it says that only 6 snowboard order by Jordan company on this arrived. The other two are not deliverable within 5 days. So we are going to convert the order into an invoice. So let's go to receivable. I'm going to find the order. If you don't remember it, you're going to click here, and the order that we did was 212, and it is Jordan. So this is what you're going to do. So you're going to click at what order is entered into a sales invoice. That's what we are going to do. Order is converting into sales invoice, and they said only 8 of them. So only 8. So when you do that, there's 2 will be a back order. So if you were to do this transaction, if I'm going to display this transaction, display the entry, this will be my transaction. So this is the transaction that we have to do. So two of the Jock snowboards are on a back order. So everything is the way it is. It's on the 31st. So we change. Oh, I didn't change my date. I needed to. It's not, might not let me do it. I'm going to see. Yes. No. I needed to make, before you post it, you needed to change the date. I did not change the date. I will say okay. Now if you did not change the date, of course the date was incorrect. What you could do is, now you did the same thing. I thought I changed the date. I'm going to go to March 31st and I could display the invoice again, and then just change the date. So that's, you could do that too. So I'm gonna go to all journal entries. We could say okay, and I'm gonna look at the last one, and you are gonna go in here. This date should be March 31st. That was my mistake. I thought my other window was open, but that window wasn't open. So you have to do is, you have to adjust the invoice. When you do that, all you have to do is change the date to March 31st, and nothing else changed. So I will have to post this transaction. This is what happens when you have small computer and then too many things open, and then you have to display, you have to post that transaction. So you're going to have, it's going to reverse on the 26th, and then it's going to post it again on the 31st. So this was the skis. I know some of you guys are requesting for other ones. I'm going to try to record it, but give me some time to record these files, because it takes time. The other thing is, I'm also teaching in the classroom, so it makes it a little bit difficult to meet the demand, but I'm going to try my best to do that. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for tuning in to my channel, and keep watching, and I will load the other ones that you're requesting as I see the messages. Thank you so much. Take care, and bye for now.